see perfectly in my mind that garage door open and that little 2x4 he used to wedge in there to keep it open. And if you were walking down the alley and you heard that table saw going, then you knew he was building something. It didn't matter what he was building, you wanted to stand there and watch him and ask him a ton of questions. So he built rabbit cages, he built travel trailers, he built attic add-ons, he built sun porches, he built sun rooms, he built houses, he built everything. The man was a master of any craft, and he was always glad to do it because it was for family, it was for service, it was for commitment. Later on, he had a little problem with, he had some blood clots and he kind of had to slow down a little bit. And I talked to him about that too in the past couple of years, of what it was like to not be able to just go out in the garage somewhere and work on something. And he said it was a real bummer. But he chose to pick up puzzles and crossword puzzles and reading the paper until his eyesight finally failed him about a year or so ago, and he just couldn't do that stuff anymore. But he always kept himself busy doing something. And he was a lot more talkative in his later days, telling me a lot more stories about what it was like growing up during the Depression, what the war was like. But in all those stories, you always heard one thing: commitment, service, family, and not making excuses. So I think if there's one thing we can learn from Gramps, it's that whatever life throws at you, you just have to handle it. You don't complain, you don't make excuses, and you do it for your family.
Okay. I only want to say a few things for my father. And I said, that's horrific when you hit the beach. He says, no, that's not horrific. He said, the second wave got it worse because the Germans were ready for him and he took a beating. That's the kind of my dad. He thought, even though he had to hit the beach, he was looking at his comrades and how they got it the worse. That's my dad. We have brothers in our house, 4, and we used to lay on the ground because when he gets home, we had to get what arms we're gonna sit on and arms and see if he can get us to stop him from lifting us up. And he was strong, and we roughhouse. My mother's lost shades that were all crumpled up, all crumpled up with that. But that was some of our games since it was boys. That's the kind of things when he comes. And after a number of years, we finally stopped him from lifting him up. he's still a strong guy. We were just getting pretty big. So I think at this time, I used to say to him a couple times, "Can you give me your jeans?" And he would laugh. And I'm sure I did get his jeans. And he's been, in a way, I think that our family is strong because of his genes. But I'm gonna miss you, Dad. Thank you for listening.